Hey everybody, just wanted to do a tour of my garden slash food forest, humble beginnings. This is going to be a farewell tour because we're getting ready to move out, and I've been meaning to kind of document and show what I've been doing up to date, but I haven't, so I'm just going to be documenting this mostly for myself, and if anybody enjoys this and likes following along, we'll start from the beginning at our new house, and we'll take it from there. But anyway, I like to use the back to Eden style method. I watched a video about a year ago and just it all made sense, it all clicked. And this is my wood chip pile here. I get the Asplin guys that go and cut the trees around the power lines. I get them to dump it here for free, so it's a great resource and saves them some time from having to travel up to the dump to dispose of it. But Paul Gauchi, I love that guy. He's so on fire for what he does and for what he stands for, and it's just infectious. So anyway, just a little bit of background. We are here in Florida, Zone 9B. It is December 30th, 2016. Right here I got a passion fruit vine going up this oak tree. Hopefully this thing's gonna take over and just be able to produce some fruit. So I'm in the side yard right now, on our property, going past the mulch pile again, and this is coming up to where I had started to establish a food forest. Anyway, right here I got a baby loquat tree just getting started, surrounded by a wood chip mulch, of course. And here is a Anna apple tree. I got this earlier in the year, planted it as bare root. It's been doing really good. Earlier in the summer when we had a hurricane, just knocked a bunch of branches down off of the trees, and I thought instead of piling all the trees up by the road for the city to haul off, I could just utilize all the branches left over and put them around the trees as mulch, and just to break down and continue to add nutrients for the trees getting ready to grow up. You know, simulate what the creator's doing out in nature. When branches fall down off of trees, they give support to the trees that are growing up right next to them. Same thing here is another Anna apple tree, surrounded by a bunch of mulch. And here we're coming up on the main garden area. We actually got some stuff done, laid out in a logical manner, and got a bunch of wood chipped down. This is a Dorset apple. This is the very first tree I planted here on the property. I got it at Tractor Supply. It was on sale for like $5, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I finally figured out that you need a cross-pollinator for apples, so that's why I got the Anna apple varieties. But this one's been doing good. And unfortunately, a couple weeks ago, the garden was in a lot better shape. I had some spinach going down this row right here. Here's some beets right there. It's hard to see, but there's carrots down this row. Here in between these poles, I had tomatoes growing. They were doing fantastic. They were growing huge, and I had them up supported with this twine and everything. But as soon as the fruit came on, it just weighed everything down. The plants fell all onto the ground. The fruits were hanging, and some bugs got into the ones that the fruits were, sitting on the ground, and I had to just harvest what I could, most of them being green, and store them inside the house so we can salvage them. But it was a good crop of tomatoes, so I'm looking forward to doing those again in the spring. Here's a goji berry. This one's done really well. And some peas up along this fence. Here's some cilantro. I think for greens, this is probably my favorite in the garden, the cilantro. It's really good. Good flavor. Here's a blackberry. I got this one at Lowe's. I'm gonna try and trim off all the vines and pull up the main stalk and take that with me, because this is supposed to be a primocane bearing thornless variety, so hopefully that one will survive the trip. Here's some kale. Kale's done really well. And panning over, we're getting onto the pumpkin patch. It's a Seminole pumpkin, native to Florida, and this thing is just gone haywire. When I bought the seeds, the lady told me, be prepared, this thing's gonna want to climb up over your house, and now I understand why. But it has put on a ton of fruit. Let's see if I can find you a couple. I've been harvesting what I can off of it to take with us, even if they're not quite ripe. I see one over here. There's one. Alright, get out of here. It's even kind of crawled out of the garden into the grass. This is just vigorous. Anywhere it touches the ground and it can penetrate, it'll start rooting itself all along the vine too. There's another one. All this pumpkin that you see is from two plants worth, and I've already trimmed back a lot of it. There's one. So what I'm trying to do here with the garden, you can see cinder blocks that I've half buried in the ground to make the border. We have really bad dollar weed. And these things run like crazy underground. So the thought was I could keep it from running in from the side with the cinder blocks, and I don't know, I guess it's done a little bit of a okay job at that, but I still get, dollar weed intruding into the garden. So, but I found that if I stay on top of it and keep up with the weeding and plucking them as I see them, you see I can pretty much get rid of it all through this area. Alright, moving along. In amongst the pumpkin, I have a nice collard green going here, and there's another one back over there. And another favorite of the garden is this cranberry hibiscus. Amazing, just the flavors just, it's hard to describe, but it's like a lemony cranberry kind of flavor, and it's just grown crazy. This is a annual, and it's, you know, one seed creates, I think this is probably about 3 or 4 stalks worth, and I've pruned this back, trimmed it back, trying to keep it manageable. I had to tie it up with a hose here just so it's not going to fall over on top of everything. I was hoping to harvest the seeds from these guys and bring them with me, so hopefully I can make use of some of that, because this plant, everybody just loves it when they come over and they try it. You'll see later I have a dwarf mulberry tree. What I did here is I took a cutting and put it in the ground, and it's starting to root and grow up. So trying to make the move towards a more perennial system that requires less input. And these cranberry hibiscus, their seeds will just fall, and you should never have to plant these again in this area. So this should continue to cycle itself year in and year out. Then I got a couple more rows going here. This is a row of carrots, and next to that is a row of onions. Not really much to see. Some of them are just starting to come up. So, and earlier in the year we had a huge harvest of sweet potato, and the vines were just going everywhere, invading the whole garden. So I have little sweet potato coming up just everywhere, and I'm gonna, of course, take these with me. You know, just pull up as much as I can and go replant them, and they should take off just fine. Here is a miracle fruit. A friend of mine had a couple of miracle fruit trees, and they just started sprouting a bunch, you know, right around the base of it. He said I can come and take all that I wanted, so I got this one in the ground, and the rest of them I have in pots, so I'll be able to take those with me. Here's some more carrots, and the cool thing about this, you can see lettuce coming up right in between the carrots. And I didn't plant these lettuce here this year. I planted them earlier, and you know, I let the lettuce plant go to seed, and seeds would fall. So these are just coming up on themselves. It's really cool. Don't have to do the work. Here's some cucumber. This is a variety called Puna Cara, and they don't turn green. They get like yellow, and they're really good. I enjoy the flavor a lot more than the green variety. So I saved seeds from these last time, so this is a second generation cucumber here in this garden. It's exciting. And coming up into the center here, there's a kumquat tree. This one's done really well. I think we got this one at Home Depot about a year ago, and we've gotten like 3 sets of fruit on it so far. They're really small, but it's a citrus. But the good thing about this is you don't have to peel the skin off. You just eat the skin whole and all. The skin is actually the sweet part, and the inside flesh is the kind of sour part. So you get both of those flavors in one fruit. Really neat. Back behind the kumquat, I got a row of black beans, more carrots. Our family loves carrots, so I was trying to grow a bunch. Then I have a couple of acorn squash. So my wife bought a nice organic acorn squash from the store, and we loved it. So she came out here and took the seeds and just scattered them everywhere. So we had acorn squash, really dense, packed in, and I took a couple of them out and thinned them and put them over here in this section. I just have a problem with the squash and these boring bugs getting in and just destroying them all. So if I want to grow squash, I got to do some kind of protection to keep the bugs out of them. Let me turn around. Here is some Swiss chard. And here again, look at how healthy this lettuce is. And I did not plant that lettuce there. So it's really cool. Also, you see the cilantro coming up in the middle of the Swiss chard, and that's cilantro that fell from seed. So that's second generation cilantro that's coming up all by itself. And a pineapple. So yeah, we just cut the top off of the pineapple from the store, stick it in the ground, and it starts to grow. Really cool. Unfortunately, it takes so long to get a pineapple, but you gotta start somewhere. And then we have a row of garlic. I was really intimidated by garlic. I don't know why, but I went ahead and got a bulb of garlic and peeled off all the individual parts, stuck them in the ground, and they just started coming up. It was like a matter of days and this stuff was growing. I was really impressed, so I'm happy I took the plunge and did that and not just be too afraid to do it. This massive mess is a Florida Everglades tomato. Here again, a native to Florida. It's extremely vigorous. This is all one plant. It grows small tomatoes, but you have to trust me, it's loaded down. There's some smaller ones just getting started. And right here at the base of the tomato is longevity spinach. This stuff is super healthy, and it's just been growing like crazy. This is another perennial that'll just hang around all during the year and just be there for you year after year. This is going to be really easy for me to take with me. You just snap off a piece like that, remove the big leaves, and then stick that puppy in the ground and it'll take off. So I got plenty here to get me started for my new place. Here's a couple more of those acorn squash, and here's one. You can see it's just been invaded, but anyway, I'm letting it grow regardless, and I'll take this one off soon and just split it open and feed it to the chickens. So at least it'll provide some nice fresh food for them, and I'm sure they don't mind eating the bugs out of it. And right here behind the acorn squash, it's hard to see, but the asparagus, I planted these seeds earlier in the year, back in February I think, and this has just been doing really well. Ferns, and I think I even have a couple of spears that came up this year. We've eaten a couple of asparagus off of it, but anyway, whoever gets this property is just going to be blessed beyond belief, because the system's in place to just start producing food all on its own. Some mustard greens sprinkled in there among the asparagus. Down below is some mint. We harvested like every leaf off of this mint, but it's all just coming back and it's sprawling, it's starting to spread out. So that's really cool to see. We'll have like an asparagus and with mint ground cover. And trolling along here, some oregano. Here is starting to get covered up by the tomatoes, but you know, I'll have to prune this tomato back eventually. And if you hadn't noticed, what the tomato is being propped up by is a mango tree right here. It's a seedling that I started a couple years ago. Unfortunately, I'll never get to taste the fruit off of it, but it's really healthy. And right now, it says it's just being a prop for this tomato to hang on to. As we go over further, we got more mustard greens. There's some lettuce. It's a different variety of lettuce that I just planted this year from seed. I think it's called like Red Fire or something. Some lemongrass. Another easy thing that I can bring with me. Got some more mustard greens. Chickens and the goats love this stuff, and it's really easy to grow. The leaves get, you know, nice and big. This was the first row of acorn squash that we did that was really tightly packed in. It's just been decimated. It's kind of on its way out. I think all the bugs just enjoyed it. We got some self-seeding cilantro again. This stuff is everywhere. When my cilantro was going to seed earlier in the year, I just took a handful of seeds and threw them out everywhere, and now I'm getting cilantro just popping up in random places. This is a basil that's seen better days. It likes the heat of summer better than the cooler weather. Keep moving. This is another lemongrass. Got one on this side and then one in the back. This is an arch that I set up here out of cattle panels. Sorry, hog panels. They're the shorter ones. And I have 4 grapevines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Growing up this. They're not looking that good. They're starting to lose all their leaves. But you know, if they can be pruned back, they'll just come right back next year and hopefully produce some grapes, because I just put them in this year. But in addition to the grapes, I've been utilizing the arch for beans. We just got tons of these Kentucky Wonder pole beans. It's been nice to let them run up this this arch system. And down inside the arch, my plan was to do stuff, you know, that liked a little more shade and didn't like it as hot. So when the grapes are in full throttle in the summer and there's a bunch of shade down here, I could you know, grow some of the shade loving plants. But for now, I got some mustard greens in here, some more beans, these stray beans everywhere. My youngest son just loves to come out and harvest and plant beans. So I got beans just growing everywhere now. It's pretty cool. More mustard greens. Some Swiss chard coming up. This is a watermelon that I did not plant. It just kind of showed up one day, and it's totally not the time of year for watermelon, but I'll take it. A sugar baby. I don't know if it'll get any bigger than that, but whatever, it'll just become chicken food again. Here's a row of weeds. More mustard greens. And back here, I have 2 borage plants. These, I got the idea from Dan at the James Prigioni channel. If you get a minute, check him out. It's just amazing what he's done to his backyard. So he talked these borage plants up really good about bringing in the pollinators, and so I was excited to plant these and get these going. And unfortunately, I may not see them fully mature because we're going to be moving in the next couple days. Here's a row of lettuce, doing really well. So I'm on the other side of the arch, and over here we have Malabar spinach. This all started from just like two plants down here. It's growing extremely vigorous, as you can see, and it's even sprawling across the ground over here. This is another one. I'll be taking these seeds, these black seeds. They have like this dye inside, and the dye is actually useful for crafts and such, but I'll probably just plant this whole thing in the ground. There you go. I'll give the neighbors some Malabar spinach. Alright. I also buried in the Malabar spinach is some blackberry canes. Let's see if I can find one. Here we go. So these have just grown crazy all over this trellis, and what I've done is they're coming down off the arch, and I stuck the tips in this pot, and hopefully, I don't know if it's worked, but get them to root, and then I can just cut the cane off and take the pot with me. So we'll see if that works. Okay, so coming back on this side of the arch, there are 3 muscadine grape varieties growing up on this side. They're doing really well. Got some peas scattered along too. Couple more rows of beans. Just getting started. A couple more days and these guys will be good to eat fresh. I like to come out and eat almost as much as I can just fresh, right straight from the garden. You know, Paul talks about fruits and vegetables losing a lot of their enzymes and nutritional value like 10 minutes after you pick it. So it's a lot easier coming out here just eating stuff. You don't have to worry about washing dishes afterwards, or going inside, cooking it, getting a bunch of pots and pans dirty. It's simple. You just come out here and eat it, and you move on. So some of the sweet potatoes that we harvested, we took some of the tips of the vines and planted them along this edge of the garden here, and the plan was to have the vines just kind of run wild out this side, and this is going to be more of like the food forest area. So that'd be a good ground cover, but somebody's going to be up to their ears in sweet potatoes. This bush just showed up on itself. I think it's a huckleberry. I'm not 100% sure, but when the berries get black, I pick them off and feed them to the chickens. The chickens just love them. I haven't done my homework yet to figure out exactly what they are and if they're edible or not. So I should probably figure that out. And then amongst those volunteer bushes, there's another mango seedling. So this guy's doing really well, looking strong. Okay, so coming out of the main garden area, getting into what was starting to be the food forest. Here's some plantains, a couple stalks here, and some of the pups coming out. I can dig these out and take them with me. Another pineapple, cranberry hibiscus. There it is. Coming over this side, these are the smaller bananas. I don't know what variety they are, but they're super sweet, really tasty. Even though they're pretty small, they're just so flavorful. The store bananas just don't even compare. And here next to that, we have some cassava. Some people know it as yucca, so it's a root crop. We had a nice harvest of that earlier in the year. We made some yucca fries and cassava flour from it, so we love the flour, so we're looking forward to more harvest of yucca and making flour from that in the future. Sorry, backtracking a little bit. You see the chickens in the background. Okay. Here we have a dwarf ever-bearing mulberry tree. I also have the bigger variety of the mulberry tree, but this guy, the leaves are small and it's supposed to bear fruit multiple times in the year. So December, and we got a couple of mulberry here. I've been snacking off of this tree for the last couple weeks. And next to the mulberry tree, there's a pigeon pea. We got these all over the yard. This grows super easy. It's a nitrogen fixer, and you get the bean pods off of it. So another pigeon pea. And over next to the mulberry we have a guava. This is the pink variety. This tree's done really well. Got fruit off of it earlier in the year. It's got a couple more going. This branch just got done flowering. Sorry for the wind bouncing everything around. I don't know if guava is my favorite tasting fruit in the world. I don't know. Maybe give it another try, see if I like it some more. But this is a very highly productive tree for us. Another cassava. This one got blown over during the hurricane, and it just keeps on growing. Doesn't matter whether it's sideways or straight up. This box is our grub box where we grow black soldier fly grubs. We haven't used it in a while, but should start to get that guy operational again, and it's a great treat for the chickens every day. It's a nice protein source for them. Sugar cane. I'll be taking some of that with me as well. More pigeon peas next to loquat. This is a seedling, so it's going to take some time to grow some fruit. Keep going, another clump of banana. And another pigeon pea. I did have a jackfruit in this area, but it died on me during the summer. It was a really brutally hot and dry summer. So I have some more jackfruit seedlings and pots that I'm going to be taking with me. So hopefully I'll have better luck with that next time. But yeah, this is the start of the food forest. I have a couple areas I'm going to show you, so I'll do the magic of YouTube, put you on pause, and we'll transport over. Alright, and we're over to the next area. This was our old chicken run area. You can see set off by these posts. We just took the fence down, getting ready to move. But I got some pigeon peas in here. You know, I was mostly just trying to provide some area of shade for the chickens during the, you know, hot summer, but also be productive at the same time. So that was the thought too behind this mulberry tree, because it, you know, provides a lot of shade during the summer with these big leaves. But I have to tell you, this mulberry tree, it was a stick in the ground like less than a year ago. Like a stick about the size of my thumb, 1 foot down in the ground, and this thing just took off. I mean, you have to see the size of this trunk. It's crazy. And it even bore fruit. Not even a year old, just amazing. So when I set this area up for the chickens, just a heavy mulch. A friend of mine owns a lawn service, and he had to go rake up piles and piles of oak leaves and pine needles. So I told him, don't trash it, just bring it over. And I spread it all throughout here. So this area is just heavily mulched. And the chickens, you know, of course, lived on it. They were always scratching it up, adding their manure. So it's just really rich stuff. Usually it's just super sandy here in Florida, but this is just adding the organic matter back, and anything I put in here just grew amazing. Put my grass clippings in here, as you can see, so just an awesome area. If the next person that gets this house can utilize this space, they'll have nothing but success. More pigeon peas. Another pineapple. Heading over here, this bush is a Barbados cherry, acerola. If I could have one tree, it would probably be this guy. Just an amazing, constantly fruiting and flowering. It just stopped like 2 weeks ago producing fruit, and it had started producing fruit back in like April or May. So it just all throughout the year did amazing. Trying to air layer this guy so I can take it with me. Haven't checked to see if it formed any roots yet, but hopefully it will, because this was my favorite tree. The kids loved it, coming here and picking cherries every day. Um, so yeah, I recommend this one to anybody in the area, and I'm definitely going to be growing this at my next place. So this is another guava tree. This is the cream variety. The other one I had was the pink. Um, this one hasn't fruited yet, but the growth is a lot more than the other one. It's just taken off. So it's a very healthy tree. Loves all the mulch that's around it. Heavily mulch all the trees as much as I can, and wood chips. And when we clear out the goat stables, sometimes I put that around here too. Pineapple, another pigeon pea. This is a fig tree. This is a Peter's honey fig variety. It put on some fruits this year, but they never quite made it, and it got cold and stunted it, so the fruit all fell off. But I'm gonna take some clippings of this guy and propagate this for my new home. More pigeon peas. Here's another fig. This is a black mission fig. I had this tree at my old house, and when I moved here I brought it with me. So it's probably the oldest tree on the fruit tree on the property. Another pineapple. A lot of places like this have just become overgrown with weeds. I had this whole area heavily mulched, but now it's all back to grass and weeds. Um, yeah, in Florida, the trick is not getting things to grow, it's getting the stuff you don't want to grow to stop. So anyway, I have a couple more things to show you. So here again, I'm going to put it on pause and transport over. And we're back. Another big pigeon pea, sugar apple. So this one I put in the ground earlier this year. Hasn't been doing too great, but it's hanging in there. Got 1, 2, 3 pineapples. My daughter loves pineapples, so I put these right outside of her bedroom window so she can watch them grow. This is a pigeon pea, another one next to a peach tree. We've gotten peaches off of this guy for 2 years in a row now, so still really tiny though. But this is more what I'm going after here. You see the nice wood chips around, and the weeds aren't coming up. Got an old dead stump here I just put next to it. I like to sit on this stump, and when our kids were out here playing, we had a trampoline and playground here. I'd just sit there and watch them play, so also adding nutrients to the soil. This is my first attempt at gardening. A couple of raised row beds I put in here, but just all weeds. Would never hold on to moisture because, this super sandy soil just drains, and it was a disaster. So, but a big learning experience. Had much better success with the wood chip gardening. Here's a pomegranate. Here again, a couple pigeon peas surrounding it. Cranberry hibiscus got blown over in the hurricane. Here's the mother mulberry tree from the other one that was in the chicken area. This one's doing just fine, but I mean, you can see the parent plant, it's not even as big as the one growing over there in the chicken area that it grew from a stick, so I don't know. Another cranberry hibiscus just laying on the ground. Got blew over from the storm. This is a mandarin orange tree. Hasn't fruited yet, but looking really good. Here again, this was heavily mulched and wood chips, but just neglected to keep up on it. So the grass and weeds have overcome it. They love growing in that stuff just as much as everything else. So most of my problem's not stuff growing up through the middle of the mulch. It's the stuff along the edges just crowding up onto the area of the wood chips and running up from the sides, all the crabgrass and everything. This is a star fruit tree. This one's doing really well. It had a ton of fruit on it just for being in the ground the first year. And then after the storm came, they all kind of blew off. But we did get a couple of star fruit on it this year. So I believe that's gonna conclude the farewell tour. I'm gonna miss this place. I put a lot of time and energy into this and a lot of thought. And I know it's not the prettiest looking property, but it's gonna be productive for years to come. It's all set up. And even if somebody comes in and doesn't do any more work to it, they're still gonna be able to reap the benefits of all these trees and just system of stuff, self-seeding. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, we're gonna start from scratch in our new home. We're gonna be in a community where we're gonna start community garden from scratch. So we'll be able to walk you through step by step of what we're doing.